Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Let's see what the question is going to be today. Jumping right in. Oh, is my thing? Yep, I think it's working. We'll jump right into the question of the day and see what we've got. As always, I would love for y'all to leave a comment. Let me know what your answer is or what you think of what I share. So for today, question number 96 is, what is the simplest truth you can express in words? What is the simplest truth that you can express in words? Man, I need some context around some of these here. I could go work, I could go business, business, relationships. My goodness. What is the simplest truth that you can express in words? I'm going to go with work because that's more of what these are designed for overall. Um, Consistency is still undefeated. Consistency is still undefeated. I read something, and kudos to whoever it was. I read it on somebody's wall, I think. You can have credit. um, I think it was over the weekend that said something to the effect of, instead of focusing on 75 hard, like a lot of it, you've probably heard of 75 hard or choose your hard, that whole thing. I get that. I can appreciate that. But instead of 75 hard, why don't we preach just as much 365 consistent? And I just love that. 365 consistent rather than 75 hard, and it's just the sprint, right? So I'm big into consistency, time on task over time. And so much so that I said that in my early coaching days, and I still do, where one of my coaching clients ended up coining me the nickname of Tot Tot, Tot, Tot Tot, because I said time on task over time. And I believe consistency is still undefeated. We've talked about this before, but what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And we should, in fact, sweat the small stuff, and the devil's in the details, right? So it's that habit, that rhythm, that consistency that when I apply myself to something, to me, that is the ultimate form of commitment and integrity. Commitment, doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling and emotion in which you said it. And integrity, if I asked you to describe to me, give me your definition of integrity, it'd probably sound a whole lot like that. Well, somebody who's got integrity is somebody that does what they said they were going to do. No kidding. So commitment and integrity and all those things are interwoven. And unfortunately, those who are just willing to be consistent in this day and age are the ones that tend to come out victorious. I'm all about sprints. And yes, there's different seasons of life and business where we've just got to go, 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 go and sprint. But I'm actually more interested in commitment. In business, you'll hear a lot of folks to dream big and set big goals, and I'm all about it. But after we set big goals, we got to chunk it all the way down to the granular. And after we think big, now I want you to think consistent, applying time on task over time, and just being okay with repetition. I used to give kids baseball lessons at the Player's Edge. Some of you that I'm friends with know the Player's Edge well. And I would often use analogies there that, here I am watching. I remember this years ago, Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. He was in the home run derby this particular year. And he ended up winning the home run derby at the All-Star break. And I'll never forget that in the middle of the home run derby, when it wasn't his turn, he was just staying loose and warmed up, the camera on ESPN showed him putting a ball on a tee in the batting cage down underneath the stadium. And he was just taking cuts off the tee in the middle of a home run derby. Now, you could think he'd drop his elbow and lift to the sky. No, he was just making contact, mastering the fundamentals, and getting repetitions in. And I would tell kids that when I'm giving them lessons. Think about it like a 9, 10, 12-year-old kid. That what you see those major league guys doing, earning millions of dollars a year, hot dogging and doing all these things, they have mastered the fundamentals. They have mastered the mundane. Every day they put a ball on a tee and they take hundreds of swings. You just don't see it because that's not on TV usually. But every day they take hundreds of swings by putting a ball on a tee. And I've got kids who are like, come on, coach, that's T-ball stuff. That's little league stuff. Can't we just go to live pitching and, let me hit home runs? No, 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 no. You see, what those guys understand is that the game doesn't change. The same way I'm teaching that kid to hold a ball or to grip a bat when he's 12 years old is the same thing those guys are doing in the major leagues, right? The game doesn't change. The game speeds up because instead of them now throwing 55 miles an hour in Little League, they're throwing 95 miles an hour. The game doesn't change. The game only speeds up. So how does that translate to business and consistency and what I'm saying here? Because in business or real estate, like I often spend a lot of my days coaching and training inside of, is no different. The blocking and tackling of business, making contacts, going on appointments, negotiating, providing quality service, all these things are the fundamentals of the game. The game doesn't really change, okay? The game just speeds up. And I tell real estate agents all the time, exactly what you need to do to close 12 homes a year is what you need to do to close 112 homes a year. The game doesn't change. It just speeds up, right? And so I think what is the simplest truth you can express in words, for some reason, is just catching me at this moment in time where I'm really doubling down on consistency and the little things that tend to add up over time and compound into massive results. That's my answer for you today. I can take that a million different directions, and if you ask me that again next week, I'll probably have a different answer. But the question was, what is the simplest truth that you can express in words? Consistency is still undefeated. You apply time on task over time, you do the right thing long enough, your success, however you might define that, is pretty much assured. And that is one of the greatest productivity hacks, is your willingness to stick with something, make the pivots and adjustments and things along the way, of course, but to outlast your opponent and stick with that thing, because the wisdom, the experience, the failing forward, the learning lessons along the way, and eventually when we start doing something, we kind of suck at it. But eventually we get better and better, and I always start to get actually pretty good at that thing. And the more I do it, as long as I'm refining and developing my skill set along the way, I become world class at that. All right, so that's my simplest truth that I can express in words for today. What would you say? What's your answer to that same question, or anything that I said that you'd like to comment back on? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. I got to get to work. Y'all have an amazing day.